Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our city. Today is October 22nd of 2019. Wow, the holidays are going to be here before we know it. I think I saw somebody say 65 days, something like that. This year is flying by, and the last couple weeks have been really busy too. I wanted to share with you, last Thursday night I had the pleasure, it's one of the most rewarding things I get to do as mayor. I got to swear in two new firefighters. So Tyler Wilshire and Joe Reimers, I got to swear in last Thursday night at the council meeting. I think we have a picture coming up of them here in just a second. And you know what, if you didn't have an opportunity, you really missed it, to go down on Sunday to the public safety building. They had a big open house there. The police helped, the firefighters helped, and it really was a wonderful day. All kinds of people from the community came, stopped in. They had crafts, they had some snacks and refreshments. The kids got to do coloring pages. They got to put on firefighters' uniforms, and they had several demonstrations there. One was an opportunity of, it was a trailer, and it's been going all the way around the community this whole week, and it is showing like a teenager's room, and it's called Hidden in Plain Sight. So it gives really good ideas to parents on what to watch for, because there might be things that parents wouldn't want in their child's room, like drug paraphernalia. And this shows parents what kind of things to look for, and what they might think is just an ordinary USB really isn't. And so it gives some really good opportunities for parents to keep up on the things that they need to watch for to keep their kids safe. Another thing that they did at the open house was they showed how fast it takes for a flashover to happen, for a fire to really take off and grow. And it's amazing. It just happens like right before your eyes in split seconds. And that goes back to telling us what we've been talking about for the whole month of October, for Fire Prevention Month. And that is that we have got to have those plans, those how are you going to get out of your house plans. Those safety things are so important for us to know and practice with the people in our families so that we can keep everyone safe. So we have normally 2 guests on, but tonight we are only going to have one because one of our guests is under the weather. And so we are welcoming her to stay home and get better. And we've already plugged her in for another date down the road. But we are very excited to welcome our first guest, Chris Anderson here. And he is working on a project called Paint the Pearl. Welcome, Chris. So glad that you're here. So, Paint the Pearl, a lot of us have been seeing some stuff going on around town, like down by the Merrill Hotel, this whole mural. What are you working on down there?
Well, that mural is actually a depiction of a poem by Mark Twain.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with it. It goes like, I remember Muscatine.
Get your mic on.
Is it on? Yeah, I got it. Oops.
Oh, there we go. Microphone issues. We'll get it fixed. We want to make sure. And you are kind of soft-spoken there, Chris.
Okay, how's that?
There you go.
Is that better?
You should be good. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so tell us about this poem.
Okay, so the poem basically talks about Muscatine having the most beautiful sunsets he's ever seen.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought that it was a very striking poem, and being that Mark Twain lived here, it was, fitting that we paint it.
Absolutely.
He used his words to describe it as a painting. I don't know if anybody's read further, it goes on to say, they used a broad, smooth river as a canvas and painted on it every imaginable dream of color, from mottled daintinesses and delicacies of the opal, all the way up through cumulative intensities to blinding purple and crimson conflagrations, which were enchanting to the eye, but sharply tried at the same time.
Very nice.
So
that's what you're working on
yes,
this mural.
Yes, that's
what I'm bringing to life for us now what was written all those years ago.
Yeah.
So Paint the Pearl is overarching, though. There's several projects involved in that, right?
Yeah, I have.
Tell us about it.
I've done several murals already that that kind of inspired this program. One of the first ones was on the back of the History and Industry Center. I don't know if you're familiar with this mural.
Oh, yes, yes.
That was in 2013 with the help of Joe Bernard, my friend. And
he's been on our show. He
really?
Does amazing work as well.
He's awesome.
And
by doing them, I started to experience how people reacted to color. And that was an unknown thing that I didn't really see coming into it. And it really kind of inspired me to start to do more murals and paintings, and just to get that reaction in a good way with color,
Right. I think one thing that we're noticing as time progresses for our community is the more and more value that we place on art. I mean, we have just this year put together a community art committee that has been sanctioned by the Muscatine City Council and is made up of several people that you know, because public art is very important to us, as well as all of the fine arts. So what other murals have you done?
Well, I've done several. I mean, the one that says Muscatine, I think we have a flash of that.
I think we do too.
El Mitos. I don't know if you're familiar with that
little
postcard one up there.
You did that?
Yeah.
Oh, how neat.
There's also, recently I restored the molding on the Second and Pine building.
Okay, I hadn't noticed
And
that.
I consider this art, for real, because
sure.
I did historical references on colors blue and white and 24 karat gold.
So all up and over the arch.
Just the lower, this whole thing, and then down here there's some barnwood that I've restored, and it looks really nice.
Now, back when I was a young person, that was a bar.
I've heard all kinds of stories.
Warehouse.
Yeah.
Was it Warehouse 4?
There's a Taekwondo studio. There must have been, because there's paintings all over the walls.
Oh, sure.
And then I actually uncovered a sign, on an interesting note. I designed this logo for the building's name. Dr. Brad Bark owns the building.
Yes.
And he was, he didn't know quite what to call it. And he was going with a brick and pine maybe, or he wasn't quite sure what to call it. And as I was removing a sign that was on there, I uncovered an old sign that said Second and Pine Grill and Dine.
Oh, neat. So he went with that.
Yeah. So now it's Second and Pine. It must have been from the early 60s.
Oh, sure.
This sign. It was very old. But.
So there must have been a little cafe in there.
Yeah, I think it had a coffee cup. It was like a coffee shop, maybe a little breakfast nook or something.
Sure. Very
but
good.
I've asked around, and so far I really haven't gotten much feedback on Second and Pine Grill and Dine.
Yeah, right. I don't recall it.
Yeah.
No. So you're working on the big mural right now in front of the mural. So, but the overall program is called Paint the Pearl.
Yes.
And underneath of that program are a variety of different projects. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, right now there's a lot of different proposals for different things to happen. We're looking for more support for in every way possible. I mean, just to get paint up on the walls. I've started an account with the Muscatine Chamber of Commerce. They have a nonprofit savings account for me to receive sponsorship.
So people can give donations
Yes.
that will help enable more and more public art like these murals.
That helps pay for paint supplies, and there's a lot that goes into these things.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, over the years, you've done several different things. And one thing that I hadn't realized was you illustrated the Boots book for MCSA. I think that is so neat. Yeah. I think a lot of us are familiar with Boots the cat at MCSA, and this book was put out right about the time of their 25th anniversary. Yeah. I remember buying it for a couple of our grandchildren, but I didn't realize that you were the illustrator of it. Oh, that had to be fun.
It was. I really enjoyed it. And it was always something that I wanted to do on my bucket list of things to do as an artist. And like I was telling you earlier, I would like to try to do another children's book, but I think it turned out really well. And I like how many people have been, I've heard,
by it.
I've had people tell me they started crying.
Oh, yes.
By the time they finished reading it, and those stories really hit home for me.
They do.
And they make me want to do more, try something new.
Sure.
And that's, on that note, what I've learned over the few years of these murals and books and things is how colors change the way people feel. You know, like if they're placed right, or if they're a certain setting, you know, it
Sure.
creates an ambiance, and it can make you feel happy without you even really knowing what's happening.
Sure.
You know, and that's what I hope to experience with some of these artworks, like this one I'm working on currently with this sunset.
Right.
It's just one of those things where you just feel good when you see it.
Well, you know, I think using color to affect people's moods is something that's not necessarily a novel idea. I think people in mental health institutions have discovered that, and there are different rooms painted different colors for that very reason. And so you're building on that and seeing that having it around our community can help make the entire community
feel better.
Yes. By having color.
Yes. You know, what I'd like to see happen is, you know, a dozen murals up and down 2nd Street that are bright and colorful and full of joy and like good talking points, historical, just different things that people could either locally know about, or people from out of town can come to visit and, you know, have an experience, you know, and also shop while they're down here, but, you know, see all the artwork and stop at all the places. And
how long have you been doing art, Chris?
my whole life.
Really?
Yeah, I've been, since I can remember. My mom tells me when I was very young that I would scribble and cut out sculptures and do all kinds of things artistically. It was always my go-to for whatever I had going on.
That's just amazing, and I think it's wonderful that you have people in the community now that are supporting and trying to highlight the wonderful projects that you're doing.
Me too.
So you're partnering with someone at Whitney?
Oh, at the Wild Thing.
Yes.
Yes.
So how was that? So you and her are partners, or she's sponsoring?
Yes, I mean, originally we had this idea, and she had a wall that needed painted.
Okay.
You know, and she's very good with people, and we got to talking about how, well, this is just one wall, you know, and I've already done a few, and like wouldn't want to keep this going, you know, and that's how we developed this program. And
she's been very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely, and she's gotten the front entryway of her business painted, and
I've seen it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's made people stop and come in, that's for sure.
Oh, sure. See?
So it's perfect. You wouldn't believe how many people just with this primer blue color I've had on this mural. They've been taking their graduation photos in front of it, and like.
How cool is that? Yeah.
Pretty much all day I just watch people look at it and take pictures and enjoy it.
Oh, that's neat. That is really neat. So how long is it going to be before this mural's done?
Well,
or do you even know? Or do you just, does it come to you as you go?
I'm going to be done within the next couple of weeks with the upper deck portion. But the lower part, you know, it'll be done by this fall, but you know, you can always add to things. So nothing's ever really done in my book.
Sure.
Just like this last year, I restored that Muscatine mural, and I brightened it up with bright greens, and I made the Clam Man gold, and you know, just because it looked kind of drab.
Sure.
When I looked at it, you know, and so things can always improve.
So different people, businesses, individuals, organizations, they can commission a piece from you, and then you will put something together for them.
For sure.
Riley
I'm
introduces
available
us to this artist with a canvas.
I really enjoy it, and especially if it's public art. You know, I like to do private artwork and stuff, but I really enjoy it when
everybody can see it.
Yeah, a complete stranger can see it and smile. That really is cool.
Well, I know you were Fran Riley came down and did a piece. When was that?
That was a few weeks ago.
I thought so.
He actually filmed me starting this mural that I'm currently working on. And actually, he filmed me starting this painting.
Okay.
Which is now completely done.
And where's that one at?
This is located at the MCSA.
Inside?
Yes. Oh, we didn't talk about that. Recently, the Robert Young Center recently. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is Fran Riley then.
Awesome, yeah. Yeah, this was on that show.
So, yep.
It's about to show me starting this other painting.
Sure.
There it shows the Clam Man gold. There's the Pearl Museum.
Yep. So neat.
So the Robert Young Center recently moved into the upstairs at the MCSA.
Right.
And since that I've worked with them before with boots and whatnot, they asked if I had any ideas on what we could do as far as art in their new painted lobby
Their drop-in
area.
center.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, to make it more friendly and things. And of course, I'm thinking, okay, colors make people feel good.
Exactly.
You know, and I had a couple friends of mine who inspired me to actually maybe challenge me to use famous artists' artwork and maybe put my own spin on it, or you know, just go with what works and see what I get out of it.
So, like their style.
Yeah.
Like impressionism
Yeah.
or the different types that they might use.
So I used that challenge and this opportunity at the Robert Young Center, and with the help of Jim Elias, who gave me the
Another
canvas
great
painting.
guy.
Yes.
Yes.
I did 4 canvas paintings depicting 4 famous artists who suffered from mental health illness, substance abuse issues, discrimination, suicide.
And these are hanging in MCSA
Yes.
in the drop-in center.
Yes.
In the lobby area.
Yeah. They were sold at a silent auction at their grand opening.
Yes.
It went really well.
And then they get to stay there though.
Yes. Well, actually, the prints, the originals have been sold, but we're making prints of all the originals that will stay there.
So they will still stay there, and people
those
can
prints will
see
be
those.
available for sale too.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So what went? So are there 4?
Yes.
So can you tell us about
Yeah.
each one and hold them up so we can
Yeah.
see?
This
so
is
this one.
This is Van Gogh. I don't know if you're familiar with Starry Night. It's one of his most famous works.
Yes.
So I took that composition and I made a sunny day. I don't know if you can tell, but if you look at it, you can kind of feel a certain way that makes you think sunny day.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So the only reason that's happening is because of composition, because obviously the colors are completely different. Well, these colors make you feel good. And that's what it's designed to do.
Okay.
So it's a sunny day, and a starry night, it's kind of a reverse. So
Sure.
he had impulsive behavior disorder. If there was an ADHD diagnosis back then, he surely would have got it.
He would have got that.
I would think so.
Okay.
I mean, he cut off his own ear and mailed it to his girlfriend or something.
Sure.
It's pretty impulsive behavior.
It is. It is.
He had substance abuse issues. And yeah.
Okay.
So the next one is
Boots.
Boots. And this artist, the reason I did Boots was, first of all, because of the book I did. But
Right.
second of all, the psychedelic rainbow pattern you see in the background, it comes from an artist by the name of Louis Wayne, who suffered from schizophrenia. And it shows pictures of he did cats. They're very famous. And as his diagnosis progressed, the cats changed dramatically. Towards the end of his life, they were almost like a black velvet, black light reactive, just really psychedelic.
Sure.
And it's quite interesting to
Yes.
just be able to see that disorder.
Transformation
Yes.
as his illness progressed.
Yeah. I think that one actually reached a lot of people with actually understanding how a diagnosis affects a person over time.
Certainly.
So the third one was Salvador Dali, and that's Melting Clocks. It's based off of Melting Clocks. It's suicide awareness and anti-bullying is the theme. And a couple facts about Salvador Dali is he caused himself to go into a state of psychosis to have reach in his artwork. He felt like he was a better artist when he was just lost his mind.
Right.
And he would like set himself up to fail in order to get into that so he could paint, which is to me just crazy.
Right. It is.
And just kind of the opposite of the way you need to go about it, you know? And it went further than that though. He in the early 80s, his lover died and he started to dehydrate himself and starve himself to the point to where he was going to die. And because he read in a book that when a microorganism dehydrates himself, it causes them to go into a suspended animation, and then one drop of water would reanimate that microorganism, and yeah.
Oh goodness, yes.
Yes.
A little bit of mental health issue
Yes.
going on there.
Yep. So I started the painting off with the waterfall.
Yes.
And that, if you look at Melting Clocks, there's a table where that waterfall is. So it actually looks like there's water coming off that table. So he's got plenty of water, and yeah, the man on the dock, it kind of represents loneliness.
Sure.
And then there's a flock of birds in the waterfall, and there's one white bird kind of getting chased around by a bunch of other birds.
Which is the bullying.
Yeah. So.
Very, very meaningful.
Yeah, I like it. And the last one is probably my favorite one.
Okay.
And it's by an artist, a little-known artist, Jean-Michel Basquiat. And the reason I like it so much is because, well, it's so different. And a little bit of facts about him, he painted enigmatic epigrams, like little sayings and uplifting types of murals in subways and back alleys in lower Manhattan in the late 1970s, early 80s. And his style of painting become so well recognized that it actually helped inspire like the early rap punk culture. And like a lot of those CD covers and things were changed by his artwork. And he ended up dying of a heroin overdose when he was 27. All these artists died. I mean, before they were seen, before they seen any money. You know, they were struggling their whole life. And that was kind of the challenge my friend gave me, was to see if I could, you know, beat it.
Be successful before you die. Yes,
you know?
Instead of after.
So, and this artist, he was African-American, Haitian descent, and in a white-dominated culture, his art, being that it was so bizarre, was, you know, it was hard for him to even get any recognition while he was alive. You know, he even hung out with Andy Warhol and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Wow.
But after he died, he holds the title for the most money anyone's ever spent on any American artist ever.
Wow.
For one painting at $110 million.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So. You know.
Amazing. Well, I just love that you know, the story behind them, that you wanted to research artists that had a mental health issue and tie that all into the drop-in center at MCSA, the Robert Young Center there, that is going to be such a benefit to the community, to be able to come and drop in and fit in and have a place to belong and feel comfortable and safe.
A lot of people have already really loved the paintings. They say
I'm sure.
It just makes you feel like good.
Yes, yes.
But I like, especially like this one, it kind of makes you stop and interpret it.
Sure.
Even though there's really
okay, what can I see there? Now, the first thing I thought of was the owl, like a cartoon.
Yeah. Well, see, Basquiat, he coined that. He would use things like Mickey Mouse or things that people already knew and were very popular.
Sure.
Because sublimity, those images are already in your subconscious. And then he would just dress them up with whatever.
And bring them out in a different way.
Yeah. Like he would hint on racism or, you know, different inequalities through his artwork by doing that. Yeah. Like Nike swishes in there and things like that.
Yeah. Very good. So you're going to finish the mural by winter.
Yes.
For sure by winter, right?
Yep.
And so the originals have the four people that bought by auction the pieces. Have they already got the originals?
No.
Okay, so the originals are still going to be hanging there at MCSA. Okay. And then you're going to make them into reprints.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I've had a lot of people ask actually for the Sunny Day reprint.
Oh, I bet.
That's
I
very
bet.
nice.
So do you do the reprinting yourself?
No, Jim Elias. I want to work with him on that.
Okay.
He's got more experience with that.
It sounds like you've really aligned yourself with a group of people that can really help you further this whole movement towards bringing more color into the community. And, you know, I know Jim Elias can, and I know you're working with a little bit with the Community Art Committee and Melanie Alexander through Jim Elias there. And do you have some projects that you haven't started yet?
Yes, actually, I just found out yesterday that we're going to paint a mural up on the Colorado School for Rotary's, their 100-year anniversary. I don't have the proposal here, but it'll be in the playground area.
Nice.
It shows children.
You can see the big end of the building there. That'll be a perfect area.
It'll look nice.
And people come into town that way.
Yeah. I know, I was thinking about that.
They do. A lot of people will turn left on University at the light in front of Menards, and then
that's the
come
thing,
on
like,
down and then get on
I
Colorado.
love input, so if you have any good ideas that you'd like to see on anywhere,
Sure.
just that's what I'm here for. I would like to, hear what people think, and there's so many available spaces that a little bit of paint would just make a big difference.
So any businesses, they can just commission you to start a piece.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Or do a mural or
Anything.
yeah.
Because I suppose you don't do a lot of murals painting in the winter.
No, not outside. No.
So you can do other stuff
Yeah.
during the winter. So if people are interested in doing something or having something be at their facility, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, I'll be down at the Wild Thing for the next 3 weeks. So
Okay.
anytime during the day, if it's not raining, they can.
So
find
they
me
can
there.
stop down at the
Yeah.
Wild Thing. Okay.
Or yeah.
And while you're painting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And watch you in action. But that's a good way to get a hold of you so that
Well,
they
just
can
right
make
now,
contact.
yeah, that's where I'm going to be at. So.
Okay. So
know.
otherwise, do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah.
People can message you on
Yep.
there. Oh, so Paint the Pearl, I assume?
Yeah. Well,
Or your name?
My name.
Chris Anderson. Okay. And I bet they could also
I actually have an email, paintthepearl@gmail.com.
paintthepearl@gmail.com. And I bet if anybody forgot all of those things, they could just ask Jim Elias.
Yeah, definitely. He knows where I'm at.
And he'll know where you're at and be able to find you. We're so excited about this, Chris. I think anytime wonderful things like this happen in our community, it makes all of us smile and be pleased to be a part of Muscatine. And you're bringing color to our city, and we need it. We're a river town. So the more color that we can have, the more vibrancy, it just brings out joy in everyone. And I think that you have done well to remind us of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else that I forgot to talk about?
Well, this current mural will have a plaque at the end of the nice walkway
Okay.
featuring sponsors that currently sponsor Paint the Pearl.
So even if I don't have a facility or I don't have a space to put a mural, I can donate to the cause of someone else getting one.
Yes, and their name will be featured on this plaque.
Wonderful. So, and really anybody
Anyone, yes.
can be involved
I've had
in this.
individual sponsorships, and I've had business sponsors.
That's a great opportunity for the community to be able to do that.
I think so.
And they can, if I understand correctly, the Community Foundation, or I'm
No.
sorry, the Chamber.
Yes.
The
Yep.
Greater Muscatine Chamber of
Yep.
Commerce and Industry, and they're on the corner of
Iowa.
2nd and Iowa, right there in the old bank building there. So they have an account there that people can give
Yep,
donations
you can walk
through
right
there.
in and donate that way anytime.
That is wonderful. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
If you don't mind hanging tight for a little bit, we've got a couple of save the dates. Hey, Chad, were you able to locate those pictures of the firefighters? I just wanted to, first of all, I want to thank the Journal because they took these pictures, and I just wanted to give them the credit for that. But, all the time, we have so many people in our community that we want to remember. All of our service providers, our safety. My microphone is getting twisted. We're having all kinds of microphone stuff tonight, and it's all user error. We'll say it like that. But big shout out to our firefighters and our police force for keeping us safe, and all those other people that are always standing guard to help the city of Muscatine. Next, I'd like to ask you to remember that there's an open house going on at Senior Resources this Thursday night from 5 to 7. Now, we don't have a city council meeting this week, so that gives everybody the perfect opportunity to head over to Senior Resources. They're gonna be doing some tours. They really wanna highlight the programs and services that they have at their facility to provide for seniors, and it's way more than you would think. My mother recently moved, I guess it's been a year or so now,
into Hershey Manor. But she is forever talking about the services that they have at Senior Resources and all different kinds of things that people wouldn't even think of, like helping elderly get haircuts there and, just all kinds of things. So if you have a chance on Thursday from 5 to 7, if you could stop into their open house, I'm sure they would love to have you as their guest. Next on Friday, so that's Thursday. Friday is Halloween at the Y. This is our 19th year, so October 25th, Friday. There's 2 different sessions. I know they still have some tickets available. So the first session is 5 to 6:30, and then there's a half-hour break for people to leave so that the parking lot can get at least limited or emptied a little bit more. And then the last one is from 7 to 8:30. The only reason that we have the 2 sessions is just because there's such a big turnout. And you want to make sure that you call, because you can get your tickets over the phone. You want to call and get your tickets or stop by the Y because they will be out. They usually almost always run out. Next, Symphony of Treasures. So we've had Thursday, Senior Resources, Friday, Halloween at the Y. Symphony of Treasures. On Saturday, we have Symphony of Treasures, and that is by the Muscatine Symphony Orchestra. They're going to have on-site appraisals, collectibles and delectables, they're calling it. It's going to be a really fun time and very, very interesting. They're going to have a live auction. It's going to be October 26th at the Rendezvous. Tickets are $35. There'll be hors d'oeuvres. It'll be a really good event. The other thing on Saturday is, if you've ever been involved in these out at the Muscatine County Conservation Discovery Park, they're going to do a trout release on Saturday. So another thing, so you have something you can do during the day, something in the evening. The trout release is at 10 a.m. The Iowa Department of Natural Resources releases 1,000 trout. 100 of them are tagged. Any tagged trout caught on October 26th will get a prize. So it is a really fun day, and the kiddos really, really like it. Next, out a little bit, November 8th is casino night for the Muscatine Community YMCA. It's their annual fundraiser. Tickets are on sale now. You can go to their website or you can call the Y for more information. Let's see, next week, our guest for our city is Ted Maroff. He is on the Wilton City Council, and he is one of the people that is working on the Muscatine County Freedom Rock. I love this project. I can't wait to tell you all about it and hear more about what Ted has to share next week. Also, Whitney Howell is with Early Childhood Iowa, Muscatine County, and she is the ringleader. I mean, several of us have been involved in this diaper pantry, putting together for the families in Muscatine that really could use that diapers as a resource to help their family. And so Whitney's going to be here to talk about that. I already mentioned we have no council meeting on Thursday. Always remember that our city is on Channel 5, on Muscatine Power and Water Cable TV. It's also on YouTube and on Facebook. And big thanks to our producer, Chad Yoakum. But lastly, I would just like to share with you, I was asked to make sure that the folks know that the Riverbend Mobile Food Pantry is moving its distribution place. So they used to be over by the high school, but now they are going to continue serving the community at the School District Administration Building, 2900 Mulberry. So food distribution is going to be every month on the second Tuesday, 4:30 to 6. So that's going to be November 12th, December 10th, January 14th, February 11th, April 14th, May 12th. You understand where that's going. Second Tuesday of every month from 4:30 to 6. And then they asked me to please let you know that they're going to have 2 vans that are going to go back and forth from their location on Mulberry, the school district building, to Logan Street. And they're gonna be shuttling people back and forth. So if you don't have a car, you can still attend the mobile food bank pantry, and they will take you back and forth. The van's gonna run every 15 minutes. So make sure that you're out there and watching 4:30 to 6. The very next one is gonna be November 12th, and that's going to be at the School District Administration Building. 2900 Mulberry. You know, we are so fortunate in our community, and I was just talking about this. We had coffee with the mayor on Monday at Bickford, and I was sharing with some of the folks who live there that Muscatine, although we do have a lot of people in our community who struggle to meet their needs when it comes to food and nourishment, we also, because we have, I mean, let's just say it, we have over 50% of the children in the Muscatine Community School District are eligible for free and reduced lunches. And so we have a lot of folks in need of food. But what we have done in our community, we're very blessed that our city is very giving. There's a hot meal served every day of the week somewhere in Muscatine. So between Salvation Army, between MCSA, between Loaves and Fishes, between the church across from MCSA, and I've lost their name, forgive me, temporarily, a little brain freeze there, but you can go somewhere and get a hot meal for you and or your family. We also have a food pantry at MCSA and one at the Salvation Army, and this is another resource, the Riverbend Food Bank. So the second Tuesday of every month at the School Administration Building, 4:30 to 6, all you have for a requirement is that you have a student in the Muscatine Community School District. We want to thank you and all of those who support our city. We appreciate you joining us tonight, and we certainly want to thank our guest, Chris Anderson. Please join us next week and have a wonderful week. Thank you again.
Our City with Mayor Diana Broderson replays on MPW Channel 9, Wednesday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. and Thursday at 7 a.m.